everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Best and Worst. This is the show where we like to pick one of our favorite actors and talk about our favorites and least favorites of their career. It's a lot of fun. And this is to give you a little taste of the Hidden Gems podcast, which is the longer episode. So if you like what we do in this shorter episode, check out the Hidden Gems podcast. I would really be happy about that because I think it's really fun. And I am film critic Rachel Wagner, and my co-host for Hidden Gems is here. Ryan, thank you so much.
Hey, Rachel, thank you so much for having me here yet again. And today we're going to be talking about Shia LaBeouf. Now, I think that Shia LaBeouf is someone who, over the past, like at least the last decade, he got a bit of a bad reputation. I used to be a fan, but then just he started slowly falling off a cliff. But with movies like Peanut Butter Falcon and Honey Boy, I think he's finally pulled the nose up and brighter days are ahead for him. I'll be the first to admit that I was among some of the people making fun of him. Like I started out as a fan of him from Even Stevens, and then loved him in Greatest Game Ever Played, loved him in Transformers, and then just right
Yeah.
off a cliff. But I'm so happy that he's finally it finally seems like he's gotten a control on his
Yeah.
life, and that just makes me happy when people pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and move on.
All right. Well, what is your best of Shia LaBeouf?
So my favorite Shia LaBeouf performance and this is a purely subjective pick is The Greatest Game Ever Played. I've talked about this in one of our earlier Disney Plus episodes. So I'll try my hardest not to run over anything that I've said, but the story of this movie is that Shia LaBeouf plays Francis Ouimet, an amateur golfer who wins the 1918 U.S. Open golf tournament. What makes that important is that during that time, amateur and professional golfers were like classes. They were the poor and they were the rich, and like respectively. And Wimet ended up winning the tournament by beating who was considered to be the best player in the world at the time, Harry Vardon. What I love about this movie is that, well, I'm a golfer, so this is one of the best golf movies ever made. But it's a compelling story because Francis Ouimet grew up in just like as low poverty, like about as low poverty as you could get. Like he grew up in a home with loving parents and all, but he essentially had to break into what was considered an elitist game. Even his father said they will never accept you. And he essentially proves everyone wrong. Shia LaBeouf is excellent in the movie. This is the movie that turned me into a fan of his, and I just think he was spectacular in this. This was around the time he was transitioning out of his like Even Stevens phase, and he was becoming the Shia LaBeouf that we would know and then know better today.
Cool. I actually have never seen this, so I'll have to watch it on Disney Plus one of these days. That
Yeah,
sounds
I,
really
I
good.
I know this movie is not like Peanut Butter Falcon or Honey Boy or more of his acclaimed stuff,
Hmm.
but I have seen The Greatest Game Ever Played so many times. It like I can pretty much quote that movie line for line if you all ask me to, which I know none of you are. So
Cool, great. Well, you mentioned it a couple times. My favorite is from last year, The Peanut Butter Falcon. I loved this movie. I actually got to interview the creators, the directors and writers, Tyler Nilson and Michael Schwartz. That's not why I love the movie, but I liked it so much that I wanted to interview them. That's the only reason I bring that up. And I just thought they did such a good job with a simple story that we don't get to see that often these days of just these two, well, it ends up being, and then it becomes three people that are on this road trip. It had an old school feel about it. I almost like a Huckleberry Finn kind of feel about it, which I really appreciated. There were a lot of ways that this story could have been super cringy, with Zach Gottison being the first person with Down syndrome to have like a major role like this, but he was treated just like anybody else, which I really appreciated that the script didn't do that, and it felt like him and Chaya were friends and that they really did become friends. And I was actually was hoping that at least the screenplay might get nominated or might get some Oscar love. I also think it's a beautifully shot movie, especially for the budget. So I love it. I think it's really really good, and I showed it to my parents for we had movie night. They loved it, and they're very 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 picky. So it's I can't imagine. It's one of those movies that I just can't imagine anyone not liking. It's so sweet.
Reason number 8,750,000 why I don't trust the Oscars. Peanut Butter Falcon didn't get
Yeah,
nominated for
and
crap.
the Independent Spirit Awards didn't nominate it for anything. I was just like, are you kidding me? I thought at least the very least that they would nominate it, but no. So I guess it wasn't highbrow enough for them.
The Peanut Butter Falcon. No.
Yeah, not abstract enough or whatever. So yes, so that's my favorite from Shia LaBeouf. Let's talk about the worst of Shia LaBeouf. And we
One one
both
more one more note before we move on. If Terrence Malick had directed Peanut Butter Falcon, it would have gotten all the
right.
awards.
Exactly. Yeah. If it was the
Anyway,
exact same
so
movie. So we both agreed in this case on the same worst. It's the worst Transformers movie. Everybody will agree. Even people that are fans of the Transformers movie agree. Revenge of the Fallen is the worst Transformers movie. I don't care how you. And this movie, I guess, in fairness to the movie, it was completely disrupted by the writer's strike. And so they basically started the film without a script, and they were literally kind of making it up as they went, and it shows. And I just, oh, this movie is awful. I hate it, and I especially hate what's the mud flapping skids. Those little Transformers are the worst. I hate them so much. Uh, so yeah, it's borderline racist at times. It's exhausting, it's unending, it's definitely very chauvinist, and I just have nothing good to say about this movie. Is awful. John Turturro is so annoying in it. Oh my gosh. Just like stop screaming, please. Uh
you know,
so yeah.
this movie makes it hard for me to defend Michael Bay sometimes because I'll admit I'm a fan of Michael Bay. I think from a visual standpoint he's top notch. Content wise, oh, we can have a conversation all day about that because Pain and Gain, a movie he directed, is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. But again, side road. What makes Revenge of the Fallen so bad is like literally everything that you mentioned, Rachel, but you did not do this movie justice, like just how bad it is. Because just like no matter what angle you look at it, the acting is so bad. Like Shia is trying. I said to you, Rachel, before we started recording today, you could put Daniel Day-Lewis in this movie and it would improve absolutely nothing. So Shia's involvement in this is just makes me feel sad for him because I think if with a better script it would have been better, but unfortunately that's not what we got. Uh,
Yeah.
just everything involving Leo, like played by Ramon Rodriguez, and
Woo.
I want to say for the record that he has gone on to do much better things. He was actually George in The One and Only Ivan, and I really enjoyed that movie. He was in Megan Levy, which is a movie that I talked about in our Canopy video a couple of videos ago. He's been in the Netflix Marvel Universe. He was in Iron Fist, so he has recovered. But he is the most annoying person that I've seen in any movie ever. Like it just every time I see him, I want to walk into the sea. That's how annoying he is.
Yeah.
And I could go my entire life without never seeing John Turturro's butt, but that is unfortunately what we got. And the camera stays on it for like a legit 10 seconds. And the scene goes on and you're just like, all right, let's get the show on the road. And Shia is the chairman for the entire audience. And he's like, what is that? And John Turturro's character is wearing a thong, and he's like, what? And then he's like, everybody wears this. Giambi, Jeter, it's a baseball thing. No, it ain't, John Turturro. No, it ain't. I could rant about this movie
Yeah.
for days, but
It's
I feel like
so
this video
bad.
is long enough.
It's really, really bad. Let us know what you think. What is your best and worst of Shia LaBeouf? We'd love to hear your thoughts. And so thanks so much. Please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. You can follow me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. Ryan, where can people find you?
They can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at RyanCam20. Then there's, of course, my YouTube channel, which is Ryan Cam. Today, we're recording this on a Tuesday, which means yesterday, Monday, I released my AFI project video on It Happened One Night. On Wednesday, I'll be releasing my video for A Streetcar Named Desire. And on Friday, I'll be releasing my video for Rear Window. And then on Saturday, you're getting a double shot because on Saturday, I'll be releasing my review for The Mandalorian Season 2, Episodes 5 and 6. And then later on that day, you'll be getting my video for the movie Nerds Club, which we're doing the top 5 female-led action movies, and I'm looking forward to that.
Great. Yeah, you should all definitely check it out. And thanks so much. And let us know your thoughts on your favorites, and make sure you check out the Patreon. We really appreciate that. And we also have the merch store, which has tons of festive designs that you'll love. So check that out. All the information is in the description. And we'll talk to you all later. Let us know who you'd like us to do for best and worst. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Okay. Bye everyone.
Bye.